Hello, and welcome back to Bible with Bible Corner. Today, we are going to start the final chapter in Acts, Acts chapter 28, and I'm going to read verses 1 through 6, starting with the English Standard Version. After we were brought safely through, we then learned that the island was called Malta. The native people showed us unusual kindness, for they kindled a fire and welcomed us all, because it had begun to rain and was cold. When Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and put them on the fire, a viper came out because of the heat and fastened on his hand. When the native people saw the creature hanging from his hand, they said to one another, "No doubt, this man is a murderer. Though he has escaped from the sea, justice has not allowed him to live." He, however, shook off the creature into the fire and suffered no harm. They were waiting for him to swell up or suddenly fall down dead, but when they had waited a long time and saw no misfortune come to him, they changed their minds and said that he was a god. New Century Version. When we were safely on land, we learned that the island was called Malta. The people who lived there were very good to us because it was raining and very cold. They made a fire and welcomed all of us. Paul gathered a pile of sticks and was putting them on the fire when a poisonous snake came out because of the heat and bit him on the hand. The people living on the island saw the snake hanging from Paul's hand and said to each other, "This man must be a murderer. He did not die in the sea, but justice does not want him to live." But Paul shook the snake off into the fire and was not hurt. The people thought that Paul would swell up or fall down dead. They waited and watched him for a long time, but nothing bad happened to him, so they changed their minds and said, "He is a god." Okay, so we are, like I say, at the end of the book of Acts. This has been a pretty long journey for Paul, and this story here I hear every once in a while. Paul getting bit by a poisonous snake and nothing bad happening to him. Well, I had heard, and I can't remember exactly what was said, so I'm not going to even try to venture a guess, but I had heard some people say that they had studied that region, and a certain type of snake that lives there is indeed extremely poisonous. I can't remember the name of that snake, but nonetheless, they are very poisonous over there. So, anyway, to have a poisonous snake bite you and show no sign of any kind of harm would be an amazing sight to see. And that's exactly what these people thought. So they literally went from one extreme to another. He is a murderer, he is a criminal, whatever. So obviously, nature wants him to die. And then they go to the other extreme. Nothing bad happens to Paul, so he must be a god. He must be able to have some control over all of this stuff that's around him. Well, neither one is true. He is not a god, nor is he a murderer. Well, at this point, he was a Pharisee and he did stand by while people were being stoned, but he has come to Christ. He has been baptized for the forgiveness of his sins. So we are at that point now, and he is getting ready to go see Caesar in Rome. So Anyway, what I would like to get at with this is, again, with the whole shipwreck theme that we've been talking about the last several days. So once the shipwreck is done, that doesn't mean that it's over. That just means new challenges now wait. Whether those challenges are out at sea, finding some debris to float on, to try to stay as much out of the water as possible, or hopefully finding land and hoping the people there are kind and helpful. Either way, new challenges come. So when we do have our own shipwrecks in our Christian walks, and once the shipwreck is done and we are now facing the aftermath, whether, like I say, it's out in the sea or finding land, how do we respond? Do we respond by being hasteful, or do we respond with politeness, caring, patience, trying to even make friends, so to speak, so that we can continue on to wherever we are needing to go. And to preface this, I know this video is a little longer than I usually like, but I want to explain this a little further. So being out in the ocean after a shipwreck, that could be you are completely alone. You don't have friends or family around to help support you. In fact, there's nobody, not even a random stranger coming by to help pick you up. You're just trying to struggle along until you get to land. Or you find land, so you've got friends and family, you've got random strangers coming up that are trying to help you and encourage you. Again, how do you respond in those situations? Do you keep pushing forward, or do you give up? I hope you find encouragement in this, and I hope you have a wonderful, God-centered day. Bye.